Hey, what is up guys? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out iVPN. We're going to be putting it into the new 2.0 rating system, which is more strict than ever before, helping you guys decide which VPN to pick. I recommend using an S-tier VPN. There's only two right now on the S-tier. Go check them out at vpntierlist.com. Use promo code TomSpark for discounts. Those are the ones I recommend to use. We're going to find out if iVPN can make it up there. We're going to find out, how it does and pricing, security, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into the review. Stick to the end to find out the final review. Also, guys, if you want to help support the channel, find some of my recommended products and affiliates down in the description down below. That can also help your security and privacy overall. So, guys, first up, we're going to take a look at iVPN's pricing. Now, they do some things well, and other things they don't actually do well enough to meet our specifications. So some of the things they don't meet our specifications, where they don't have 8+ simultaneous device use. They only give you 7 devices used. So that doesn't meet our 8+ simultaneous device use requirement. Additionally, there's also kind of like a weird difference between pricing system here. We have standard and then like the pro plan. I'm not even going to bother considering the iVPN standard plan for our pricing system, because it's obviously a gimped version that doesn't include all the features of iVPN. I honestly think they should get rid of this one and just have this one, the main plan, but also significantly reduce the pricing. You shouldn't make port forwarding or multi-hop and upsell. It's just kind of dumb. So we want something to be between $6 to $10, below $10, not $10 or above. So something like $9.99 doesn't really cut it. We kind of made that distinction in our last review of what was it? I think it was OVPN. So we're looking for pretty much under $10 price point, and we're not seeing that with 1 month here. For 1 year, we're looking for $60, and we're not seeing that here at $100. For 2 years, these ones aren't going to meet our asking prices either. iVPN, at the end of the day, it's a pretty expensive VPN provider. At least it's not like $13 a month like ExpressVPN, or $11 to $12 like some of the other ones like Nord and CyberGhost and stuff like that. But still, being under $10 is what we're looking for 1 month, since other VPN providers can meet that specification that are S tier. The good news is they do have 30-day refund policy, so that's good at least. Overall, though, iVPN is an expensive VPN provider with less simultaneous device use than some other competitors and more expensive pricing. So there you go. That said, I do like a couple things about iVPN. The fact that they have a unique kind of account creation system where you just kind of create a copy and paste a code, and that's like your thing. You don't even need an email address. They kind of copied that from Movad, but I do like that here. We also see a unique box here to be able to control your subscription model, and that's a really transparent, consumer-friendly thing to do that I think almost every VPN should do. Take a note out of this. Some VPNs out there, really nice, guys. So guys, how does iVPN do in the application? Well, pretty good in some areas, and in other areas it needs improvements. I do think it's actually a really good looking application, and I do like this application quite a bit. I like that it has a different kind of color scheme and feel than a lot of applications out there. It's got a nice clean gray and black aesthetic. Overall, though, it is missing some things. I couldn't find split tunneling within it, and there is some compatibility things that I think they could improve. For example, it doesn't have an application for Fire Stick. It also doesn't have any browser extensions from what I could find, which is a bit odd for being around for so long. So those are some things that it's missing that other VPNs do have. It's also missing SOCKS-V proxy support for those torrent users out there. And it doesn't have dedicated IP support either for those people out there who want to get dedicated IPs. Outside of that, though, it does really well. It has WireGuard kill switches. It also has a good interface design. It has ad blocking within it. You can see that right here. It also has some obfuscation options. It has a Linux GUI, which is really nice. One of the few VPNs out there that does. It also has good options in the settings to control like, DNS controls. It also has some port controls and stuff like that, some advanced firewall controls and stuff like that. So overall, it's a decent application. It just kind of needs to fine-tune some of those extra compatibility things that I'm kind of surprised they don't have by now, especially stuff like browser extensions and Fire Stick support, and split tunneling would also be a nice addition. I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on that, though. So overall, not bad. All right, guys, now we're doing a live speed test here on the channel. Now remember, if you don't see a VPN connected, if you don't see it live, you don't know that's an actual real speed test. For some reason, though, we've been having issues. Oh, there we go. It is working now. Yesterday, for some reason, it wasn't working. Speed test on that wasn't working. So we had to use speed of me, which isn't always quite giving me the results that are consistent that I find. Here we are with iVPN doing a live speed test that is real, not faked or anything like that. To fit some kind of overarching narrative. I think iVPN would appreciate that because they don't like fake VPN reviews. But if we're taking a look at this test, we see okay results. Nothing too great. We do like to see more around 700 to 800 megabits per second on our speed tests. We can see that with some other VPNs out there, and we're not seeing that today with this speed test. So we'll have to do a torrent test as well, see what kind of speeds and results we can get there. All right, guys, now we are doing the live torrent test to see what kind of speeds we can get. Ideally, we like to see around 70 to 90 for top tier in terms of megabytes a second. Anywhere between 40 to 60 is pretty good too. Not quite as good, but definitely solid. And that's kind of what we're seeing today. We're seeing around 50 to 40 areas, which is perfectly good. Similar a little bit to what we saw with OVPN yesterday. So definitely not bad performance here. 60 right there, kind of hovering in the mid 50s, lower 60s, which is definitely pretty solid. Kind of pretty much what I expected after seeing that speed test result. So that speed test result does seem to be pretty accurate with what we're getting here. You know, we can see top ranges of 80 to 90 with some VPNs out there. So not quite as fast as some of the best ones out there. Overall, pretty solid though, not bad. So guys, how does iVPN do in terms of privacy, in terms of the privacy audit? Well, actually pretty damn good. The good thing is that while they have this unique kind of account creation system, they do have two-factor authentication. So I think they actually do it better than Mulvad, even though I kind of think they took their idea but they actually made it better. Having two-factor authentication and this unique account creation system is really, really good. So good job there, iVPN, in terms of the account. I think they have a nice account page for how they have things set up. Not only that, but if we take a look at the blacklight test of iVPN, we see a perfect performance. As of right now, it is among one of the 3 VPNs here on the tier list that has passed the blacklight test perfectly. Torrent VPN and OVPN and now iVPN are the only VPNs to be able to pass the blacklight test, having no Google Analytics, no Facebook tracking, keystroke capturing. Some VPNs like Atlas VPN do that. All these kind of cookies. iVPN is a privacy company and realizes it doesn't need any of this stuff, and that's really good to see finally. And then if we look at Exodus, we also see 0 trackers, which is exactly what we're looking for. Some other VPNs out there, especially like OVPN, has 5 permissions, which is even lower than this one. So that's something to think about. But still, 0 trackers is what we're looking for, and they passed this with flying colors too. iVPN, I think, is a pretty good company overall. You don't really have to worry about logs or anything like that. It's also not had any acquisitions or sold a company around or had any major data scares or anything like that. So as far as I'm concerned, they have a perfect result here in the privacy audit. Very nice. All right, guys, now we are still connected to iVPN, as you can see here. We're still connected. All right, guys, so what we're going to be doing with Netflix, we're going to see if iVPN can unblock the US version of Netflix. And what we can do is type in the green zone. If we can see the green zone, it means it is unblocking it. Unfortunately, iVPN does not seem to be unblocking green zone, which is kind of like our indicator, our benchmark to see if it can unblock the US version of Netflix. Now, iVPN in the past has never really seemed to care or want to unblock streaming services, and it doesn't seem to be changed as of right now. That kind of also leads me to believe one reason why they don't care about Fire Stick, because that's kind of like the streaming VPN community, and they don't really seem to care about addressing that part of the community. So for people who want a good streaming VPN, so far it doesn't seem to be performing that well. Let's go ahead and see if it can work with some of the things like Hulu though. Unfortunately, we are also getting a proxy error there. Once again, we are still connected. iVPN just really likes to hide down there. So now let's move on to Prime Video. It looks like it is also giving us a proxy error there. And moving on into HBO Now, it also seems to not be working. So once again, iVPN does not seem to care about streaming at all. It doesn't work with any of the services, and that's definitely let down, definitely cutting out a good core part of the audience that could be there. iVPN does not look like they have a live chat as of right now. Seems like they could have it, but it's not online during PST. So similar to OVPN maybe. I might have to check back later, see if it's available. It does seem like they have some kind of live chat, but it's not available, so they're not going to get full points. So let's go ahead and test out a support ticket, see how fast they can respond, hopefully within an hour to get full points in that category. So guys, as you can see, iVPN did not meet my 1-hour ticket response time requirement. It's been past an hour and there's still no response. So guys, one final thing I did want to mention about iVPN is that they kind of have a weird stance on VPN reviews. On one hand, they've closed down their affiliate program because they don't want to support like misleading reviews. But in essence, that hasn't really done anything because most of the big review sites out there are still doing what they do. A lot of them have actually been purchased by VPN companies. And if iVPN is taking this stance that them ending their affiliate program for some reason has positively affected the affiliate industry or positively affected the VPN industry, well, let's go back a couple years and take a look at some funny and ironic thing that did happen due to a lack of affiliation programs. A couple years ago, they actually had ended their affiliate program due to this guy called That One Privacy Guy. At this time, I was actually an affiliate with them. I was kind of upset that they kind of gave me the short end of the stick, and they kind of had ended their affiliate program after That One Privacy Guy saying that affiliate programs are evil and everything like that, and they kind of changed their whole business model with that just due to this one guy. Which is ironic because That One Privacy Guy ended up selling his website to none other than Cape Technologies. So his website is now kind of merged with this website called Safety Detectives, and Safety Detectives is a VPN review site recommending VPNs, and it's owned by the VPN company. So how ironic is that? The very reason they changed their policy due to a guy that actually ended up selling out. And you could find a lot of Reddit threads talking about the demise of this guy and his website selling out to these companies. In the end, he closed his site because he couldn't make any money and he wasn't using affiliate programs. So it kind of comes back full circle. That is really not using affiliate program the way to go, when in fact it just ends up with a website being sold to VPN companies making biased reviews. In my opinion, not really. So iVPN taking this stance hasn't really affected those companies or affected the industry really that much. And they also have this whole thing about not supporting VPN reviews, so they don't support fake reviews. But there's not really a real good like a metric for determining, according to them, what is like a fake review or not a fake review. I think actually kind of what iVPN is doing more, especially with some other VPNs too that have closed down affiliate programs, is they're more like taking a stance like this to kind of gain some like bonus points in terms of PR. They say, you know, we only support honest reviews, and then they recommend some people who are like honest VPN reviewers. But it's kind of ironic because the only people they actually recommend are people who like their product and recommend it. They don't actually recommend people like me who actually have some criticisms about their product. You know, some of these review protocols here, I don't really find that accurate. And maybe if we stripped away pricing and customer support and streaming, iVPN might top my tier list too. But that doesn't necessarily make my tier list any less accurate than some of these other ones. In fact, I think it makes it more accurate. So the fact that iVPN is pick and choosing which kind of VPN review or privacy related networks review systems that it does score in, and shunning the other ones and calling them fake, I think is a bit toxic and misleading. So guys, in summation, iVPN gets a 29.91, which isn't that great. Honestly, they do really well in certain categories, and like I said before, if I were to eliminate core fundamental parts of the tier list, iVPN might like this review more. If I took out the customer support, if I took out the streaming component, they would actually be a really good VPN, but those are parts of the score, and whether they like it or not, this is the score they deserve. That's because it is more expensive than most other VPNs on the market. The application is still missing some core fundamental features that other VPNs have. Other VPNs have Fire Stick applications that you could stream with. Other VPNs have extensions, SOCKS by proxy support, stuff like that they don't have still. And it's disappointing to see, long times after they have been a VPN. They also don't have that good of live chat. It's not around all the clock. I couldn't even get it working on mine. I did give them some sympathy points here for at least seeming to have it on their website, which is more generous than I sometimes have been. And additionally, their support tickets are slow. They don't respond quickly as some other VPNs do, and the streaming compatibility is still shot out of the roof. They still don't work with any of the major streaming providers, and this is a big segment of the market they're just straight up ignoring. So in the end, do I recommend iVPN? Well, not really. So that's just my thoughts and opinions. If you don't like my thoughts and opinions, you're free to have your own, but there we go. That's the review they get. Anyways, guys, see you in the next one very soon.